And we are back. It is Thursday, 2 o'clock. You know what that means. We're stepping in between the lines. We got a bunch of great topics for you guys today. We're talking greatest NFL team ever. The completion of men's March Madness. We got who's got the best chance to win in the NBA championship. And then Wilson Contreras made some kind of volatile comments in one of the last games against the Brewers. We got all that and more coming right up after this break. So stay right here. And we are back. You guys are listening to Between the Lines on Hawk Radio, the official radio station of Hillsborough College. Now, March Madness is completely over. And one team who I know my co-host wasn't hoping got into the national championship was UConn. So how do you feel about UConn, first off, making it to the national championship game?
You already know how I feel. Any of you viewers that were here last week, I went on a little bit of a rant.
A little bit's kind of, you're minimizing that a little bit.
Listen, I love Dan Hurley. He's a great coach. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame, college Hall of Fame one day. But UConn, as a team, did not deserve to be in that national championship game. They deserved to lose to Michigan State. They had the easiest path. Didn't deserve to be a 2-seed. And you saw that when they played Michigan. I think that a better game would have been Illinois versus Michigan. Illinois just, I don't think, prepped well enough for UConn. I mean, Terrace Reed Jr., he's a beast. He's their center for anyone who didn't really watch the game or know, but he's about 6'11". He's a big body. He gets rebounds. He dunks on people. But Michigan prepped for that game, and you could see the energy they had the entire game on defense. I mean, UConn couldn't really do anything. That first half, they were down by 4. It was 33-29 at half. Michigan went on a run to end out the half. And Michigan was up by 4 at halftime, shooting 0 of 8 from 3. I mean, just put that into context. A team that's usually shooting 38% from 3 was 0 for 8.
Yeah, they shot 13.3% from three-point range that entire game.
They did, and they couldn't shoot, and they still beat the doors off UConn.
Oh, they beat them. So the final score was 69-63. So I don't know if it was a beat down.
But did you watch the game?
No.
Okay, so
I don't stay up that late to watch anything.
Let's just put this into context. They were up by, I think, 12 at one point with like 4 or 5 minutes left. And you know how end of games go in college basketball.
It's the longest time ever.
It's bank shot threes are going in. The heaves. They're not exactly trying to foul on layups, so they're giving them the layups. Michigan missed a couple free throws down the line, and what I love to hear is Dan Hurley complain about the refs after what the refs have done for him. He's always blaming everything on the refs, and that's ridiculous. I know the free throw discrepancy was, I think, they made 12 more free throws, had 13 more attempts than UConn. Doesn't matter. They beat them in the paint. That was the whole game plan. I mean, you have a 7'3" guy going against Terrace Reed Jr., and what are you supposed to do? They outplayed UConn that entire game, and Dan Hurley wants to complain about the refs. Ridiculous.
Yeah, okay, so with that being said, how do you feel, though? This is Michigan's first title in 37 years, and it's the Big Ten's first in 26 years.
Yeah.
But Michigan built their team through the transfer portal.
Yes.
So how do you feel being that they won the national championship, but they did it through unconventional ways, I guess, compared to now than how teams used to win the national championship?
It's going to change the landscape of college basketball. It is going to change everything. I mean, when you look at it, I think there was something on Instagram that I saw that was like Michigan didn't have a single starting player in their lineup that it started at Michigan. Yaxel Lendenborg went to UAB for 2 or 3 years, recruited by a bunch of top-tier teams, including Alabama. He actually wanted to go to Alabama, didn't know that Nate Oates, the head coach at Alabama, was recruiting him, so he went to Michigan for that reason. Ended up being the best player on that team. You had Ade Mara. You had Roddy Gale Jr., who played at like 3 different colleges. Merez Johnson, amazing player. And then you had their point guard. I'm a UNC fan, and he went to UNC. But he's also just a dog. And then you had 2 guys that were coming off the bench. You had the 6th man of the year in the Big Ten.
Okay.
But he got hurt. I think he injured his knee or had hamstring issues. It's going to change the entire landscape of college basketball because now college coaches are no longer going to be, hey, let's develop a bunch of freshmen.
Yeah.
Because what's the benefit of that anymore? You're going to develop? You're going to put a bunch of money into these high school players that are coming straight out of high school. They're not developed yet. You're going to develop them and then what? Have them leave after 1 or 2 years? You need those role players to have a good team in college basketball.
Yeah, and that's very heavily contrast to, I guess you could say, the women who won the women's March Madness, which is UCLA. Which I think has had 1 transfer on that team, which was Lauren Betts. But everybody else there was there since they were freshmen and started at UCLA. So you can see the contrast in their philosophies, right? UCLA built their team from the ground up, except for Lauren Betts, who obviously came from somewhere else. But she's been there for 3 years. Everyone else was there for 4 years, but Michigan built their entire team that won the championship from the transfer portal.
Right. And I don't know. I think that it's going to change a lot about college basketball.
So now it's over. What do you think the UConn and Michigan, how do you think they look next year after this season?
So UConn's losing one of their best players, Alex Karaban. He's a senior. I don't think that Solo Ball is going to stay. I think he's going to enter the draft. Terrace Reed's probably gonna be a player that they're gonna try to retain, but I don't know if he's gonna stay. I don't know the relationships between Dan Hurley and the coaches, and then Michigan's gonna be a completely different team. But everyone wants to play for Dusty May right now. So I think that Michigan's gonna be another powerhouse next season.
Okay. Do you think they have a chance of repeating?
I do.
Okay.
Fully do. Yeah, I think Ade Mara is going to stay. He's going to be like do you know who Zach Edey is?
I couldn't tell you.
Zach Edey is the 7'6" guy that played for Purdue for 4 years. He's now on the Memphis Grizzlies.
Okay.
He was a powerhouse in college basketball because how are you supposed to guard a 7'6" guy? They can just catch the ball and put it in the hoop every play.
Yeah, it's like guarding Shaq back in the day, or even guarding. Again, Lauren Betts, we looked this up the other day. She's like 6'7", being guarded by 6'3" Joyce Edwards. I'm like, look, you can try and compare her to Sarah Strong, but Lauren Betts got the size and the height. It's like there's not really much you can do there. So I can see how it's going to be hard guarding a guy who's 7'6". It's like trying guarding Wembanyama, a little point guard, guarding that dude who's as tall as Shaq, maybe even a little bit taller.
Yeah.
It's like, no, that's That ain't going down on a blacktop or a hard parquet at all.
No, I think Michigan's going to be one of those teams that you see now. Now that they hired Dusty May, I mean,
You think they run the block like Alabama did in college football?
It's going to be like the Blue Bloods. Are you familiar with Kentucky, Duke? Teams that just were always unstoppable.
Yeah.
Always were making the Final Four or the Elite Eight. Always going far in the postseason. It's going to be like that if Dusty May stays. He's creating an amazing culture at Michigan right now, and you could see it on the court. I mean, their defense, his game planning is some of the best. He had he was in the Michigan football stadium with a basketball hoop, having players shoot on it to get used to the depth perception.
How does that work with depth perception? They went on the football field shooting. How is that different than shooting on a basketball court?
So it differs because when you're in a huge stadium, because the Final Four and the national championship was in Indianapolis.
Yeah,
it messes with like your depth perception because it's like a dome. So you can't perceive how far the basket is. So
Interesting.
When you're shooting like on a football field, you're not really in a relative distance, so you don't understand that. So getting used to the depth perception, you're just preparing. Obviously, it didn't work as well because Michigan shot 13%, but their game plan was amazing. He must have. I can't imagine what he prepped for because when watching that game, UConn couldn't do anything.
That's interesting. I've never heard of that, I guess, training strategy to train depth perception. So I want to know how. I want to pick his brain and figure out how do you come up with a drill like that? Is that something you're taught, or is that something you just pulled out your rear end and said, I'm going to try this and see what happens?
Listen, man, get him on the podcast. I'd love to talk
I
to
wish.
May.
I ain't got his number, though. If I did, I'd call him. All right. So March is officially over. There's no more madness anymore. It is done. We're stepping off the basketball court. Next, we're going to step onto the baseball field and talk about Contreras' volatile comments towards the Brewers. So make sure you guys stay right here after the break. We got more. There might even be a fight. We don't know. Stay tuned after the break. And we are back. We just finished talking about March Madness. So we stepped off the basketball court. Now we're going to step on to the baseball field. Willson Contreras Monday night made some volatile comments against the Milwaukee Brewers. For you guys who don't know who Willson Contreras is, he's the Red Sox new first baseman who they just signed this past offseason. So this is his first season with Boston. And Monday night they played the Brewers in their second game of the series. The starting pitcher for the Brewers that night was Brian Woodruff. And Monday night at one of Willson Contreras' bats, Woodruff threw a pitch that hit Willson Contreras on the hands. Now, for some context, Willson Contreras has been hit 24 times by the Milwaukee Brewers, which is 10 times more than any other team he's been hit by. And he's been hit 6 times by Brian Woodruff specifically. So, after the game, he made the comment of, and I'm going to quote him on this, "They always say I'm not trying to hit you. That gets old. So next time they hit me again, I'm going to take one of them out. That's a message." So my question to you is, do you think his comments are warranted after the game, after getting hit again?
Did he not play for the Brewers?
He did not. He played in the same division, but he never played for the Brewers.
Okay, so I don't know why I thought he played for the Brewers, but I did think he did. Okay, can I get a little bit more context? Is there any history between these players, like bad blood? Is there like...
So I don't necessarily think it's like bad blood in the sense of they personally know each other, but Woodruff has just hit him 6 times, which is the most I think he's been hit by any pitcher, and then 24 times by one team, which is the most he's been hit by any team. Yeah. So I think he's just tired of getting hit, and then the excuse being, "Oh, I'm not trying to hit you, I'm not trying to hit you." I think at a certain point, you get tired, and you're going to want to do something about it. So I can see where he's at. Now, professionally, I don't think he should have said that. That's something you can keep inside your head. That way, in case you do something, you can have plausible deniability. But now at this point, you don't. So if you take one of them out, everyone's going to be you purposely said you were going to take one of them out. So,
see, I think that's probably the most unprofessional thing. You're trying to start a fight, and not only that, if I'm the Brewers and this is intentional, which I'm not going to speculate at all.
Yeah.
24 times becomes
an anomaly.
It's an anomaly, and at some point, as a player, you probably think that it's intentional. It might not be. It might just be like the players being accidental, especially hearing that he hit him on the hands, like that
stuff like that happens all the time.
That's tough,
especially when you guys throwing 95 plus. The control is not always going to be there, especially when they're throwing curveballs, sliders, all these different types of pitches. The control is not always going to be there. So one's always going to lose, or he's going to lose a ball every now and again. But
let's say this is intentional. If I'm the Brewers, I'm pelting him next game.
Dude, well, they already had their last game, so he wasn't hit. But man, could you imagine if he had gotten hit again in Game 3? I can only imagine what he would have done on the bases, or if he charges the mound.
He's definitely charging the mound, and I think that empties the bullpen.
Oof, dude.
In the dugout, like the dugout's emptying.
Oh yeah.
But I think that that he wasn't hit in that game. I don't think it was intentional, and I don't think he should have necessarily said anything.
Yeah, I can see that. He definitely, that's not something you ever say as a ball player, because you have to have a certain understanding of where the pitcher's coming from and where he's coming from. And at the same time, you have to think they're on a losing streak. The Red Sox aren't playing their best brand of ball at all.
Yeah.
I think at the time I think they won that game. Before they won that game, I think they were like 3-8. So it's like, okay, so first they're losing, so you already know they're not in the right headspace. He gets hit by a guy who's already hit him 6 times, and by a team that's already hit him 24 times.
Right.
So you can already see, okay, now there's frustration there. One, because you're losing. Now you're getting hit again on the hands. So it's like, dude, okay. So now he's sending a message. You hit me again, I'm going to take you out. It's almost like you're going back to like that early 2000s kind of like baseball type of brand, where it's, you always, what's the best way to put this? Pitchers would say, they're not going to let you hit like 2 home runs without taking one to the back or to the shoulder, right? They would intentionally hit you. One of my favorite Pedro Martinez quotes is, and I think this is true with just any pitcher. That's why I say, I'm not saying it's intentional, but there might be a little intention behind it, is, look, I throw a baseball for 95 plus for a living. I'm pretty freaking accurate with how I throw my ball. So if I hit you on purpose. There's no really ifs, ands, or buts about it. So one of my favorite quotes, just because it kind of proves, like, pitchers, they grow up throwing, training, control, and speed, and all that other stuff. Not saying one can't get out of your hands by accident, but 6 times, 24 times on the same guy. there's got to be a little bit more question and speculation, I think, at that point.
Yeah. I'm kind of at a loss of words. I mean, 24 is a ton, but as a player, the goal is you're getting paid millions of dollars, right?
Yeah.
You're probably frustrated that you're getting hit, but at the same time, there's a level of professional ability that you have to maintain at all times. You see players lose careers when they publicly speak out about refs, or refs come at them the next game. You see,
or they're getting watched more closely after what they say.
You see coaches always under scrutiny on social media.
Yeah.
You see players like Joel Embiid who says, this isn't working, or calling out other players on his team. You can't do that as a player.
No,
especially a threat.
Yeah,
that's a threat.
Oh, it most definitely a threat.
I'm charging
I'm going to take one of you out next time you hit me.
I'm going to take one of you out. That's a threat.
Oh, that's most definitely a threat. The umpires are watching him extra closely in that game 3 to see if he follows through on what he said.
Right.
I think at that point, you've crossed the line between competitive to now it's straight violence. We're going to fight, and I'm going to purposely injure you because you hit me. And at a certain point, like you said, getting hit comes with the territory. And it's not like he got hit in the head or the face or anything. It's the hands, and yeah, it hurts like a son of a gun. But at the same time, you have to realize your hands are probably the closest thing to that plate and the closest thing to the thing you're swinging to hit the ball. So
I think he could have handled it in a way that
made
a joke out of it. I've been hit 24 times by the Brewers. How bad is the pitching, right?
Yeah.
Am I right? How bad is that pitching?
And you've seen people make jokes like that in the past just to take that little dig, little shot.
You take a shot.
Yep.
It's not a threat.
Yeah.
But you're saying, Woodruff, you've hit me 6 times, dude, figure it out.
Yeah,
Come
exactly.
On,
and it's almost like, I think the other night, it wasn't the Red Sox game, but there was a brawl in baseball the other night, and the pitcher threw something, and it was high and inside, didn't hit the batter, but the batter's sitting there just staring down the pitcher, and then the pitcher's staring back at him, and the batter, 2-3 seconds later, charges the mound, and they both got suspended. So it's okay, so that could potentially happen with Woodruff or a Brewers pitcher and Contreras, even if he doesn't get hit again, but if anything's close, you don't know what's going to happen because now that it's at that boiling point of, okay, if something's even close, is he going to charge? Is he going to try and take out a baseman? You don't know what's going to happen at that point because now you're at that level of you got to make sure nothing pops off.
Right.
Right? Because, again, if he gets hit, if anything's close, you're clearing the dugouts, you're clearing the bullpen. The umpire is definitely going to get in the midst of that scuffle. It's going to be old school knockdown drag out at that point.
Right. Yeah. I don't even know what to say. I think I'm highly disappointed as a human being that watches baseball and Contreras' just comments.
Yeah. So. I was just surprised by the fact that he made that comment out loud in the media.
Right.
You can think that. You can maybe say that to your boy back in the locker room.
Intrusive thoughts, man.
Yeah. That's not something you say out in the media.
No.
Because then at that point, commissioners listen, your umps are listening, everybody's listening at that point.
And that becomes toxic for a baseball team.
Oh yeah.
I mean that reflects on the organization as a whole.
Yep.
You're a reflection of your team.
Yeah.
Your general manager.
Yeah.
Your owner.
Because they got to go to bat for you to even sign you. Because this is your first year with that team, and you're going out making comments like this in your 5th, 6th game with the team.
Right. You are a reflection of the entire organization and everyone that's involved in it, including your teammates.
Exactly.
You don't make that comment.
Exactly. At the end of the day, what he said, whether or not you agree with it, don't agree with it, what he said was unprofessional. He should not have made those comments out in the media or just out loud in general. Keep that in your intrusive thoughts. But that's all we got on Wilson Contreras' comments. Shouldn't have said it. So now we're going to step off the baseball diamond and we're going to step onto the football field because next we got who's the greatest NFL team to ever play or to ever be assembled. So make sure you guys stay right here. We got all that and more coming up right after this break. And we are back. You guys are listening to Between the Lines on Hawk Radio, the official radio station of Hillsborough College. Now, we done left the baseball field. Now we're stepping on to the football field. And the question is, who is the greatest NFL team ever assembled? Me personally, I think it's the 2007 New England Patriots. Now, there might be a little biases there, but when you look at the team on paper, who can you tell me is really better? I mean, you have Randy Moss, Wes Welker, Tom Brady, Jabari Gaffney, Kevin Falk, Teddy Bruschi, Junior Seau, Rodney Harrison, Asante Samuel. And they're the only team to go 16-0 in the regular season. And I think they went 17-1 on the entire season, unfortunately losing the Super Bowl. But you can't tell me they're not the best team on...
Lost in Super Bowl.
Okay, listen. That's not the question of whether or not they won the Super Bowl.
1972 Dolphins.
No, not even close.
What do you mean? They went 17-0.
No, they didn't. The Dolphins went 14-0. No. Because at the time, they didn't have 17 games or 18 games. They had 14 games.
Wait.
The Dolphins, the 1972 Dolphins, had a perfect 14-0 season. They won 27 consecutive games.
In the regular season, 14-0.
No, the season 14-0.
Wait.
The season 14-0. You can double check me if you want, because I did my research yesterday. They had a perfect 14-0 season. That's including playoffs.
17-0 record. CBS
That year.
Sports.
14-0. 19. So that's what? That's 14 games in the regular season, and then three playoff games.
3 in the postseason. 17-0. I would argue that they're way better. Number one, 07 Patriots didn't win the Super Bowl. Number two, I think the 2024 Eagles are better than the 07
I don't think
Patriots.
they are.
Oh, my God.
I don't. I mean, the only things they had, granted, they are a great team. I don't think they're beating that 2007 New England Patriots team.
BS.
Offensively, they're not. I don't think that they had the defense to sit there and pressure Brady like the Giants did. They have the receivers, but we had the corners and the defense to lock your team down when you look at it. You got Bruschi, you had Rodney Harrison, you had Junior Seau, who are going to be your pass rushers ultimately. Then you have, on the corners, you have Asante Samuels, and I want to say Santonio Holmes. I'm not even sure if that's the right name, but there's another corner on the other side of Holmes, on the other side of Asante Samuel.
Kansas City.
Which Kansas City team?
2020 won the Super Bowl. 2021.
They didn't win the Super Bowl in 2020.
Yeah, they did.
That was the Bucks.
No. Bucks won in 2021. They played against the Bucks. Wait.
I swear that was 2020.
No. 2021 lost to the Bucks. 2022 Rams. That was the year of Cooper Kupp coming out.
Yeah.
23 Kansas City beat the Eagles.
Yeah.
Or sorry. Yes.
No. Yeah.
Yeah. 23.
Yep. Because that was the Kelsey Bowl, as everyone was calling it.
It's messing me up with the dates. You know how we talk about this?
We figured this out a while ago that they put the championship year they played the championship in. I'm like, that makes no sense.
That's what's messing me up. I'm talking about the 24 Eagles that won in 2025, technically.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay.
I'm tracking what you're saying.
Okay, in 2023, Kansas City wins. 2024, Kansas City wins again.
Okay.
That Eagles team blew the doors off the Chiefs.
But the Kansas City Chiefs should have never been there in 25. Looking at their season, how many times did they win by skating by their butts?
They were going for a three-peat and still won. It doesn't matter. You can say that, a foot out. You know that first game of the season where Isaiah Likely caught a game-winning touchdown, and the Chiefs ended up winning by a toe.
Yes.
They still won those games. I don't care what anyone says.
They should have never been there.
27-0. It was 27-0 in that Super Bowl.
The Chiefs should have never been there, and I will stand 10 toes down and say that. And I was so happy to wake up the next day and see the Eagles beat the brakes off of them.
I get it, but the 07 Patriots lost in the Super Bowl.
Dude.
They lost.
When you're just talking about the pure team, though, I'm not talking about...
They lost in the Super Bowl. They're not the best team in the nation.
I think they're the best team on paper when you put it hands down to go up against any other team.
We're not talking about paper. Are we talking about paper? Or are we
we're talking about on paper, greatest team.
Two different things. Paper and winning.
If you want to talk greatest winning team, you can probably say the 72 Dolphins or even the 80s 49ers or the 90s Cowboys.
Man.
When you talk about greatest winning team, you can probably say those other teams.
Let me put in relativity.
Okay.
Let's say LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Stephen Curry, Tim Duncan, and Shaq are on a team, and they go 82-0 in the regular season. and then they lose in the first round of the playoffs. Are they the best team in NBA history?
No, they aren't. Well, on paper,
now
on paper
you're
you can.
contradicting yourself, man.
No,
Oh, boy.
on paper you can probably say they're the best team
Oh, boy.
assembled.
I just got him. I just got him. Telling you viewers out there. I just got him.
No. On paper, you can probably say that because obviously everyone on that team's a top 5 in their position or top 10. Now, there's so much more that comes into being a great team, more than just your players. Obviously, it's chemistry on the field, right?
Yeah.
Or on the court or whatever. The New England Patriots that year had probably some of the best chemistry of any other team because you had 2 people set NFL records, one which is still standing today. At the time, they had their highest scoring offense, which I think they scored 50-plus points. I think they were averaging 50-plus points that season. Brady threw for over 5,000 yards. At the time, they were the highest scoring offense in NFL history. You cannot say they're not the greatest team on paper.
Yeah, but you just contradicted yourself when I just gave you the top 5 players in their positions relative. I mean, you can argue a couple of them, but still.
No.
You just said it's all about paper, and then I gave you the best team on paper, and you said no.
This is my Skip Bayless moment. I do not believe that at all. For Christ's sakes. I will take Andre Iguodala to take the last shot.
That's a pull, man. That's a pull. Skip Bayless. Oh, boy.
This is my Skip Bayless day. That's what's going on. All the hot takes. You're getting all the hot takes today.
Yeah, this is a very hot take. 07 Patriots are not the best.
Hey, I'm biased. I will admit that very loudly.
That's very biased. That's not even relatively biased. That's probably the worst take I've ever heard you say.
That is so not true. I've said a lot crazier things.
You have. You said that Korea would beat the Dominican Republic, and they got mercied. So
yeah, that is very true. But I just don't think the Dolphins are the greatest team ever. If you're looking at it objectively, it has to be the 80s or the 90s Cowboys and Niners. One, because the 80s 49ers, they were relatively the same team for all 4 of their Super Bowls in that one run span. You obviously had your core guys there with Joe Montana, Joe Montana, Jerry Rice. You had Ronnie Lott.
Yeah.
You had your core guys there who won 3-4 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
So you can't argue that's not the greatest team of their
era.
Yeah, of their era just in general. Because obviously rules change.
Yeah.
So you have to play within your rules you're given. That's why it's so hard to debate eras and generations.
Yeah, that's why the LeBron versus Michael Jordan debate's never going to be finalized ever.
No, I hate it. I hate that debate. Granted, I have my own opinion on it, but that is such a relative debate because they played in 2 different eras with 2 different sets of rules.
Right.
We're
straying, but yeah, biases.
Very much so.
Very much so, because I'm an Eagles fan. He's a Patriots fan.
Yes.
And I think we could argue about this for hours.
Very much.
But I still think the 72 Dolphins.
I don't. Yes, they went 17-0, I guess. But
they're the only team to do it. Only team. It's the only team to do it. And I know that more games were added and stuff.
Yeah, because by the time it got to 2007, they're playing 18 games.
Yeah.
So New England just going 16-0 in the regular season's a feat. Then you had, but before that, I think it was still 17 games, I think, in the 80s, 90s.
Yeah.
So they added the extra game in 2000s. After that, now it's looking at almost 18 games. And think of the regular season.
Now we're looking at 21.
Yeah, 21 total games in just the season from start to finish. Regular season, I think, was 16 games in the 80s, 90s. Then because they just added the 17th game a couple years ago.
Right.
So I really don't know. What do you judge what's the greatest team ever off of? Do you go off of Super Bowls?
I think that everyone could debate this for hours. I mean, I don't think this debate will ever be solved. I mean, you could argue a million different things. You could argue regular season record. You could argue that they went through adversity in the season and they had one of the best teams, but I mean, they barely slipped through the playoffs, got to the wild card, and then won the Super Bowl. You could argue that. You could argue that they're the best team on paper ever assembled.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many different avenues, and I think there's so many different teams that could be considered, quote unquote, the greatest team.
Yeah.
But what are we looking at?
I mean, I guess the better question is who's the greatest franchise ever. I guess you could probably ask.
I would say the Patriots.
I mean,
I as much as I want to say there's another team, and it could have been the Chiefs if they three-peated. I think that they would have beat Tom Brady and the Patriots out, but. But I do think the greatest franchise is the Patriots. I mean, look at what they're doing now.
Yeah.
with Mike Vrabel and Drake
Yeah.
May. I mean, they just went from what? They went 3-14 or something, or 4-13, something around that the season prior, and then went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, Gerard Mayo's last season, I think they went 3-14, however the numbers work out.
Yeah, whatever.
And
it
then
was.
to turn around and go, I want to say 14-2, 13-3, and
I think
go
it
all
was-
the way to the Super Bowl.
I think it was 13-4.
Yeah, however those numbers work out,
14,
whichever
14-3.
one adds up to 17. But then turn around the next season and go all the way to the Super Bowl.
They did have a little bit of a cherry picked.
Cherry picked.
Yes, dude.
What you mean by that?
Bo Nix got hurt, man. Bo Nix got hurt.
And people are calling us out because
Jarrett
we have
Stidham's
been
not home.
okay. How many
You guys
times?
would have lost that game if it wasn't snowing.
Okay, how many times have people called us out for not being able to beat a backup quarterback? We've lost to Eli Manning twice, as you like to point out and shove in my face here a couple minutes ago.
Tom Brady killer.
Eli Manning can kiss my rear end. You had, what was the other? Nick Foles, obviously, who we lost to in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but he was prepped. He was prepped and ready, man.
I still think the Eagles should not have won that game because there was a couple plays in that game which were bad.
Bro. I mean, you can say, dude, when you look at it in retrospect and you go back, any one moment could change the history of anything.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you look at that Saints PI that wasn't called.
Oh,
that
God.
one game.
That was horrendous.
You look at the Minnesota Miracle.
Yeah.
Stephon Diggs down the sideline. One of the best commentary play calls of all time.
Dude.
I still think that's the best. But you look at one moment, one catch, that could change the history of the entire league.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all relative. It's all speculation.
Yeah. I mean, there's always the debate of who's the greatest, whatever. But I think greatest franchise, you can't not mention New England. Obviously,
right.
Other teams you can probably have a debate with are probably the 90s, the Cowboys, because I think they have... No, the other team is really Pittsburgh Steelers, because they're the only other one with 6.
Right.
That you could probably say greatest franchise. Because other than the 80s, the 49ers haven't really done anything. Same thing with the Cowboys since the 90s.
Right.
And I say 49ers haven't done anything, like they haven't been to the Super Bowl in the last couple of years. Right. But I guess really made a splash and made their mark, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Since then. Pittsburgh's always been the picture of consistency other than New England since the 2000 or since Robert Kraft has purchased the New England Patriots. So greatest franchise, you can't really argue that. Or if you can, it has to be between Pittsburgh and New England. Greatest team, though, I think that comes down to generation or era. I think greatest team of the 80s, probably your 49ers. 90s, the Cowboys. Obviously, 2010s, you could probably say 2010s, probably New England. 2000s, 2010, New England. 2020s, you can't not say the Chiefs. They've won 3 Super Bowls in 4-year span, 5-year span? And then the Eagles are probably going to be the next ones up there because they've won through 2 in 5 years, 6 years. So, but I think we're getting to that point of you're going to start seeing a lot more diversity in teams who win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Just because it's becoming too competitive and the talent is just growing way too much and the coaching is getting better with every team.
Right. I agree.
So,
I'll have to agree on that.
Yeah. Otherwise, New England's still the greatest team ever. I will hold that to my dying day. Otherwise, we're going to step off the football field and we're going to go into break. We'll be right back. We're going to step back onto the basketball court and we're going to talk about who has the best chance to win an NBA championship. We'll be right back after this break. New England's still number 1.
Nope.
And we are back. You guys are listening to Between the Lines on Hawk Radio, the official radio station of Hillsborough College. Now, we left the football field. Now we're stepping back onto the basketball court and talking about who has the best chances to win the NBA championship. Now, according to some odds makers, OKC's got a plus 120 chance. Boston Celtics got a plus 500 chance. The San Antonio Spurs got a plus 550. Then you got the Denver Nuggets at plus 900 and the Cleveland Cavaliers at plus 1,500.
Is that to win or to make?
To win,
Okay.
I got all these from ESPN. Now, whether or not those are actually correct.
Any of you gamblers out there, viewers, don't take the Thunder. Plus 120 is terrible odds to go back-to-back. Already hard enough to do. And the Spurs have beat them 4 times out of 5 in the regular season. I think that's the only team that can really compete. Don't take a team out of the East.
Really?
No team is going to... Okay, listen.
Aren't the Spurs in the East?
No. Spurs and Thunder are both in the West.
Oh, okay.
They're both... So, the Thunder are 64-16. And
the Spurs are 60-19, and OKC 63-16.
Okay, I think it's 64 as of last night.
Oh, okay.
But yes. But sorry about that. But yeah, so Thunder and Spurs have the best chance. No one else is making it out. Nuggets aren't that good. Jokic is a stud. They don't have what it takes to go back to that.
What about my Boston Celtics?
Dude, the Celtics are a shell of themselves right now. Tatum's just coming off an injury.
Yeah.
Jaylen Brown spraying his hairline.
Jeez.
Sorry.
We ain't got to mention the man's hairline.
Listen, I mean...
He needs that LeBron James treatment to get that hairline to come back.
Fair, but, I mean, you got to do what you got to do, but it's on the basketball court, man. Who cares?
Just go bald.
Yeah, just go bald, dude.
Color it in with the little Sharpie.
Derek White and Jaylen Brown. I'd love to see that bald. But yeah, I think that the Spurs have the best chance, and with those odds, I would take them. I don't think the Cavs have enough. James Harden has never performed in the postseason.
James Harden never shows up.
I think they'll lose in the first round.
Facts.
James Harden has never showed up in his career when needed.
I will never take any money on James Harden winning any major NBA championship.
Donovan Mitchell's disgusting. The Knicks are just I don't even know what to say about the Knicks. They just frankly stink. And the Celtics, I don't think when you're looking at matchups, let's say we see a finals matchup between the Celtics and the Thunder. Thunder are miles above the Celtics.
Haven't the Celtics beat them in the series though? Or what's the series between the two?
But again, you got to put into context. The NBA's changed. There's resting. I don't even know what games have what players anymore because I can't figure it out.
Yeah.
It's like game time decisions on whether they're going to rest or not. And I think it'll be Spurs versus Thunder in the Western Conference Championship, and whoever wins that, it's going to be like the Michigan-Arizona game in March Madness. Whoever won that Michigan-Arizona game was beating the doors off UConn. Whoever wins the Thunder versus Spurs matchup, beating the doors off the Eastern Conference champion. I don't see a world where the East wins. They're weak. I mean, you look at the Pacers have been competing, and they're a shell of themselves without Tyrese Halliburton. I don't know. Thunder or Spurs?
Okay. So, obviously, you're taking anyone out of the West between Spurs and the Thunder.
Yep.
I'm going to roll with my Boston Celtics for obvious reasons.
Of course you are.
We Boston strong over here. Yeah. Now, whether or not we actually do it, totally different question. But I'm riding with my Boston Celtics. So that's going to be it for today, guys. We got to step out from between the lines. And I got to go home because I'm tired. Yep. I've been up since 4 o'clock this morning. I don't know about you.
5:15.
Ew.
Yeah. Went for a run. Got to get the blood flowing.
Nah, I'm going to go do that after this.
Yeah.
But either way, we're stepping out from between the lines. We're going to get on with the rest of our day. We're going to let all you guys go ahead and get on with your day. That's going to be it for us, guys. Much love, much peace. We out.